What? Yo, Ray! Nintendo's on! Nintendo! Yo! Get over here!
Oh my god! Genevieve, come in here! Nintendo's on! Nintendo? Nintendo!
This is way better.
Oh, this is...
Yeah!
So it wasn't my plan to make my very first video ever about the Nintendo Switch 2 of all things. I didn't even think it would be announced yet. But of course Nintendo does whatever they want. There were rumors that it would be revealed on the 16th of January, and those rumors were true. I did buy into them a little bit because of course everyone wants to believe that Nintendo's gonna announce it earlier than we were expecting. But I also secretly hoped that maybe they wouldn't, because I was trying to do a different video. But back to the Switch 2, the reveal was pretty cool. I mean, it looks amazing. From what we can see of it, they didn't tell us that much. They just told us, oh, backwards compatibility, and also bigger. A little bit bigger. But while I was watching the reveal, I did end up mistaking the date at the end for being February 4th, but no, it is April 2nd. I'm a little bit sad. In the days leading up to the reveal, or well, weeks and months leading up to the reveal actually, I had the belief that the Nintendo Switch 2, based on the leaks and the mock-ups of what it looked like, shouldn't succeed. And then we got to the reveal, everything looks good, there's mostly just positive talk about it, whatever they have shown us so far, which does lead me to believe that it probably will succeed anyway, even though it probably shouldn't. Now, of course, my line of thinking was based off the fact that the Wii U failed because it was a sequel to the Wii. It was just, like, I don't want to say uninspired because that's not true. The Switch was inspired from the Wii U. It was clearly a good idea, but, like, Nintendo just didn't do that good of a job with the Wii U. It failed in a big way. And when you really think about it, it's kind of because, well, Nintendo's really bad at marketing sometimes. Nintendo's track record with sequels just hasn't been that good. If you take a look at all of the Nintendo consoles, anytime there's ever been a sequel ever, it's never lived up to how the previous console was. Best case scenario, it gets pretty close. Worst case scenario, it's the Wii U. Oddly enough, the name of the console being the Switch 2 might actually help Nintendo out here. Part of the problem with the Wii U was that people didn't know what it was, really. Well, Nintendo at the very least didn't explain what it was very well, and people had their own ideas of what it was. Switch 2 is clear. It is the sequel to the Nintendo Switch. Sony's been numbering their consoles for ages and no one's ever been confused about that. A Wii U? People don't really know what that is. Me and my younger brother originally thought, the Super Nintendo Switch, that'd be a pretty cool name, wouldn't it? You know, pay homage to the SNES? But no, Nintendo's smarter than both of us. We hadn't thought of that. Could have had. Super Nintendo Switch. That just sounds so much cooler. But I'll give it to Nintendo. They were right. Even so, I'm not 100% confident yet. The Wii U was sensible at first. That's why Nintendo went through with it. It wasn't just some whim of an idea that would obviously fail. Like, no one thought it would fail at first, and then it did. Just a few things that Nintendo needs to do in order to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Number 1. Nothing. Seriously. Nintendo could completely mess up, failing to meet any expectations that we set for them, and it'd still sell 50 million units easily. This just is not the same situation as the Wii U. Nintendo's too big to fail, which is honestly kind of scary, but if they do shoot too low, I do not imagine that they will be able to just ride the success of the console into the next one the same way they did with the Switch. You know, it'll probably last like 4 years max if they don't meet expectations. They should still for sure shoot to meet expectations. Number 2, pricing. Before I say anything, to avoid the fire and the pitchforks showing up outside of my house. It's important to know that inflation is a thing which has accelerated greatly since the release of the Switch back in 2017. The $300 Switch back then would be equivalent to about $388 today. With that being said, yes, $400 is a reasonable price. Everyone is expecting the world from Nintendo for that price, but honestly, that's sort of a great deal. The next Sony, Microsoft consoles will probably be between $600 and $700, and that's just the economy that we have to deal with. Nintendo's consoles are still a few $100s cheaper. $400 is the new $300. In addition, if even just half of the games remain at $60, that's a pretty good deal, in my opinion. Well, not in my opinion. I'm not. Factually, the market has changed. Things are more expensive. Dude, an increase to 400 and to like 70? That's pretty standard. My defense of Nintendo ends here, however. Nintendo, this will guide you to justify your prices, and if you charge more than $400, there's nothing I can do to save you. Also, now's the time to drop the price of the original Switch by at least $50. Soften the blow in any way you can, right? Kind of like a pillow to shield yourself from a cannonball. I mean, whatever works for you, Nintendo, but, I mean, a little bribe never hurt, right? Bribe the people. Give them a cheaper Switch, right? It's old, 8 years old. It is not $300 anymore. At least I don't think it is. I'm not some industry professional. Number 3, specs. I've had a few of my friends pirate Nintendo Switch games and play them on their phones of all things, which is pretty cool, but also a problem for Nintendo. If their console is just a glorified remodel and doesn't bump up the power to that of a PS4 Pro, then I have no doubt that people will hold out on buying the console for a few years longer, by which time regular phones would have caught up again, and the pirates will be all over it on their phones. Pirates will be on their phones with Nintendo games. How do you like that, Nintendo? Is that what you want? Pirates obviously won't stop either way, even if you do bump up the power of the console immensely, but you're making it so easy for them. I just don't blame them. I can't anymore. I used to, but I don't. I've also been hoping that they'd put some power into the dock to maybe make the total power of the Switch as much as a current gen console with the Switch and the dock combined into one, you know? The Switch could maybe have 8 to 12 gigabytes of RAM in handheld and get an extra 4 to 6 gigabytes of RAM on the dock. Either way, games should have a stable 60 frames per second at 1080p, even in handheld mode. I've actually heard that the dock would support 4K. So let's add that to the list as well, Nintendo. Sorry. Going back to gigabytes, in a different sense. Storage. I wrote into the script 256 gigabytes minimum, but thinking about it now, game file sizes are just so insane. So, Nintendo! 512 gigabytes of onboard storage at least. That's the minimum. 512. I'd love a terabyte. It would be amazing. It would be so awesome. But, 512 and people will maybe not set your house on fire, Nintendo. Next spec. Battery life. This is a handheld console after all. At least part of the time it is. Oh.
Oh, that's my cat. Oh, shh.
Oh, we got another kitty. Hold on. Move the webcam. Oh, see, over there. Boing. Hi, Indiana. If the Nintendo Switch dies in 3 hours, I'm going to cry. So Nintendo should do one of 3 things about it. Either A, just have some industry-wide secret, awesome technological way to improve graphics without draining too much power. That way the battery still lasts about 3 hours. At least 3 hours. B, take the graphics down a notch in handheld mode, or let people change their graphical settings, Nintendo. Or C, sell some kind of battery upgrade module that can be attached to a charging port and provide a few extra hours of battery life. Actually, please do C no matter what, alright? I go on camping trips, and my Switch always dies, so I'd like to have a few extra hours, you know? Please, Nintendo. For me. Oh, and lastly, for the sake of humanity, fix the Joy-Con drift. If you don't fix the Joy-Con drift, it's over for you, man. It's over for you, Nintendo. Why would people play your games on those broken controllers, or the controllers that are constantly breaking, if they could just pirate it and play it on their computer? What? I heard a knock at the door.
Hello? Who are you?
I'm a warrior with Nintendo. You're coming with me.
Yeah! What the? No! What? This is really not funny, guys. Warrior from Nintendo! Look at, man, you can't be doing this to me. This is not. Ow! 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 Oh my god!
We have ways to make you talk.
Talk? Talk about what? Dude, I'll tell you anything. You don't have to beat me up.
Give us names to the pirates!
What? No, I don't know what you're talking about. What? Ah! Ah! Ow! 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 You can't get me to reveal the location of the pirates. I'll never tell you.
So you do know where the pirates are?
I won't tell.
That's okay. I still have one trick up my sleeve. Then I'll sue you!
Ah! Yeah!
Number 4, the launch. I've had a sneaking suspicion that Pokemon Legends ZA was a Switch 2 game, and this reveal has all but confirmed it. We haven't even seen the gameplay yet. Of course it's gonna be a Switch 2 game. Why haven't we thought of it yet? I mean, someone else probably had thought of it yet. Alongside ZA, there will be some third-party games at launch and some smaller Nintendo titles, but the big ones that we need include 3D Mario and Mario Kart 10. Or 9 for the people who forgot that tour existed. Turns out in the reveal we already got quite a bit of information about Mario Kart 10 from the 10 seconds it was on screen. Of course, when I first saw the Switch 2 reveal, I thought the Mario Kart being shown was just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or something like that. It looked a little bit too similar, and also it was like 5 in the morning. I live on the Pacific Coast. Nintendo's killing me with these things. So after re-examining it, I found a new Mario model, a new kart model, a new track art style 24 racer, little things at the beginning, whatever you call those. I'm not looking it up. And it looks fabulous. And it looks fabulous! We still haven't seen any 3D Mario, though. Please, we haven't seen him in 8 years. Don't launch with another Zelda game. I just want 3D Mario. Will it be Odyssey 2 or Galaxy 3? Considering it's Nintendo Switch 2, probably Odyssey 2. Please give us Galaxy 3. I'll do anything, Nintendo. Do both. Just do both, alright? You can. People will buy them both. I'll buy them both, alright? Nintendo, just do both of them. Aside from those two, I can't think of any franchises that are in terrible need of a new entry. Aside from the forgotten franchises, which I'll talk about not today. Not talking about those today. So it's anybody's guess what's going to happen at launch. Although I really do hope that the naming convention for games change. The next entry in some franchises would be Pikmin 5, Splatoon 4, Luigi's Mansion 4, Mario Kart 10 or 9. It was a good idea to number the console, but most of these games have little to no direct story connection to their earlier titles. So at this point it feels like I'm picking up a game with 1,000 pounds of baggage when really there's none. It's basically standalone. If the story is standalone, name it as if it were a standalone game, not the 4th entry in a series that does not require you to play the other 4. Just think about it. We could get awesome names like Secret of the Pikmin, Splatoon Homeworld, Luigi's Mansion Mushroom Kingdom Realty, Mario Kart X, is an easy one, and etc. Obviously, don't take those names at right. They're not very good, or maybe absolutely do. Those games sound very interesting. I would play those as well, Nintendo. And if we do actually get Luigi's Mansion Mushroom Kingdom Realty, we'll finally find out the secret of Boston building. Number 5, the online service. Nintendo Switch Online was just fine, but it should be better. For starters, don't make all of the apps just links to some slow website. Let's see some actual apps and iconic music. I miss the music. I know people act like it's not that big of a deal sometimes, but it is Nintendo. Also about the eShop, probably should be a bit more selective with what's actually on there, just a bit. But here's the big one, the Nintendo Switch Online service itself. There have been rumors of GameCube and DS being added to Nintendo Switch Online Plus, and if that's the case, that's awesome. Maybe move N64 down to the base subscription. It's up to you. But whatever you do, do not add a third level to the subscriptions. Do not change the prices, and make online play better. That's the least you could do. It would be very awesome to see GameCube online, especially. You could have servers for the GameCube Mario Parties, Double Dash, and Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is still super popular to this day. Unfortunately, I do not see them bringing back the Virtual Console. The new service will be a sequel/evolution to the one on Switch at best. The Virtual Console won't be back. And this one's a little bit of a less important factor, but number 6, theming. Definitely don't keep the original red theming of the Switch. The neon red and blue has to stay as just accents. No more. The visual distinction between Switch and Switch 2 has to be strong in order to take the final step in making it a clear successor. Plus, it would be badass if the Switch 2 had this sleek black coloring. Just think of the cover art, the case design. Oh my god. It's gonna look so good. And that's probably everything the Switch 2 needs if it wants to succeed. Can't wait until April to find out if they'll live up to the expectations we've set as a community. Also, I love how it's on April 2nd. Well, I don't love it, okay? Obviously not. It's really far away. It's too far. It's also pretty clear that they wanted to wait until the new fiscal year, so that's gonna happen on April 1st. But they didn't do it on April 1st, they did it on April 2nd, which makes me think that they moved it one day forward just to avoid April Fool's Day, which just makes me laugh so much. It's really funny, alright? It is. It's so funny that Nintendo was like, can't do it on April 1st. They're not gonna take us seriously. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. Please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me, especially in this early era of my channel.